So they say that those New Yorkers haven't got a heart. And to give the time of day, they wouldn't budge. Let me tell you about the story of our firemen and their chaplain, good Father Michael Judd.
I heard, "Mayday, Mayday, get out of the building, get out of the building." Now this, you normally hear this for a low-level building, 1 or 2 stories, where you can get out, within seconds. We're on the 35th floor of a high-rise building.
To make matters even worse, the radios that the firefighters are using don't work properly in skyscrapers. So some hear the mayday, but many others don't.
I guess with the information of having the mayday, I had this heightened sense of urgency that, we can't be stopping for anything. So we have to get out of this building as quickly as possible.
As Greg Hansen leads his engine company down, he finds an exhausted man who can no longer walk. Despite their hurry to get out, the team stop to help him.
He says, grab his legs. He says, we got his arms. He says, let's just drag him down the staircase. And we gave him a bumpy ride down that staircase.
Great cross-country planes were hijacked by crazed terrorists, missiles loaded down with aviation fuel, evil targeting our centers of democracy, killing innocents all in passion cruel.
Bill Spade has stayed in the lobby, guiding people safely out of the North Tower and away from the sides where concrete and people are still falling to the earth.
Behind me where I was standing, people were flying by. The thud, the loud thud. And then the ones that were hitting off the canopy and then off the chief's car was continuous. Those are lives that are being lost behind me. In front of me, people were coming down the staircase. I was directing them to safety. Those are lives being saved. It was two opposite ends of the spectrum. And everyone that was walking by, they're making it out. They're getting home. It was great.
Final rites, Father Mike. Comfort all Muslim, Christian, Jew alike, with compassion for the hopes and fears of every man. We'll remember our chaplain, Father Mike.
Having made it down more than 80 stories, Marvin is now lost and confused in the smoke, just 4 floors from safety.
I saw a fireman through the smoke, and I remember seeing the silhouette of the fireman. I remember seeing his silhouette, and he had the little light. And that's what I used to kind of figure out where I needed to go. I'm not an overly religious guy, but that was an image of an angel for me.
The fireman points to Marvin's escape route, and he, like thousands of others, gets out because of the firefighters who came in.
I survived because they were there. That's how I feel.
Then the gasoline exploded with a sudden roar, flames cascading death to each and every floor, terror challenging the torch and face of liberty, standing tall off Jersey shore.
Bill manages to crawl out of the rubble through the thick cloud of dust and debris and is taken to a nearby hospital.
And my brother-in-law calls me. He tells me all the guys are missing. I said, what do you mean all the guys? And he said, all the guys from 5. I started naming every guy I had breakfast with. He said, Bill, all the guys. There was 12 of us that responded. I was the only one to make it back.
Several thousand folks were trapped above the Holocaust. Many thousands more escaping from that fate. Ever passing them, ascending, were our rescuers, men so brave with no thought to hesitate.
No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory.
Father Judge, with resolve no one ever shall begrudge. Though the towers now are nothing but a memory, we will cherish the name of Father Judge. Then debris fell on our priest preparing last rites, and they carried out his body with great care. As inferno melted steel, the weight of upper floors collapsed each lower floor in dark despair.
2011 marks the 70th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor and the 10th anniversary of the terrorist attacks on 9/11.
The relationship between December the 7th and September the 11th took place 60 years apart, both by airplanes.
Many innocents were lost that day in Old New York, office managers and rescuers alike. Names forever locked in memory and brotherhood in the story of Chaplain Father Mike.
When I got across the bridge, I was ID'd by the NYPD, and I reached into my left breast pocket and I pulled out my old expired Marine Corps ID card and I showed it to him. I'll never forget what the cop said to me. He said, "Give him hell, Staff Sergeant."
There they lie, comrades all, beneath scraps that we knew as towers tall. Ah, but rising from the ashes, our humanity and our country unbroken is our call.
And I walked up to him, I said, "Staff Sergeant Carnes from the Marine Corps, to your knowledge, has anybody been conducting throughout the day search and rescue operations in the epicenter of the collapse?" They said, "No, Marine, if you go in there, you're gonna die." We could see the 16 acres and there was nobody in there but us. We started yelling out at the top of our lungs, "United States Marines, is anyone here?" We would listen and then proceed about 10 meters and then stop and yell again. We could hear some muffled cries for help coming from what was once the depression of the South Tower.
And I remember yelling over to Staff Sergeant Carnes, "Hey, I think I have someone."
I said, "Who do we have down there?" And they said, 2 PAPD police officers. They gave me their names. He had heard us yelling out United States Marine Corps. And he said to his partner who was trapped with him, Sergeant McLaughlin, he says, "Sarge, the Marines are here. We're gonna get rescued." He knew that once he heard United States Marine Corps, that they were gonna live.
Never let them say New Yorkers haven't got a heart, and to give the time of day, we wouldn't budge. See, we don't forget our rescuers and firemen, nor the ballad of Father Michael Judge. And it matters not your borough or your neighborhood, Tallahassee, Tennessee, or Timbuktu. Just tell the story of New York's police and firemen, and you'll be a New Yorker through and through. There they lie, comrades all, beneath scraps that we knew as towers tall. There's a fundamental decency in each of us, crying freedom and justice, one and all. Crying freedom and justice, one and all.